Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 157, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers who like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays or Fridays and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
What is up, my dudes? My week, I didn't do a lot of gaming. I did some more of the Bendy and the Dark Revival. Really digging the storyline. And yes, you did watch me play it. You were like, but you were people. Yes, there are people in the game. I am really digging it. I think I'm close to the end and I'm kind of sad. I almost want to stop where I am and start over just because I'm like, did I miss something? I don't know. I'm really liking it. I'm curious as to where it's going to go. But just a friendly reminder, if you're watching someone play games and your response to them finding out a secret is, if you were a game theorist, you'd be freaking out right now. Don't do that to people. That's not nice.
What does that even mean?
Right. It's like, well, if you were a real gamer, you'd be excited right now. Like, shut up.
I don't understand. Wait, why would they say that?
I don't know. That shit, like, Ravage was like, if you're a real gamer, he made a comment and I was like, thank you for your snarkiness. We appreciate it, Rav. Because it's true. Like, if you didn't have breasts, you would be excited. What are you talking about, dude? Anyway, I'm really digging it. I'm enjoying it a lot. And then the rest of the week was cooking and baking with the girls. My girls are old enough that I can now bake with them. And we went over like using sharp objects and like how not to hurt ourselves. And it was a lot of fun. We had a blast, made my own dough. And the blueberry pie came out so good that I was scared Adam was going to eat the whole thing in one sitting. Oh, wow. Harley ate half of it in one sitting. That's how good it was.
Was it tarty?
No. So I get a brand of blueberries called, I think it's, you say it Wyndham, like WY something, and I just call them Wyndham. But they're smaller blueberries, and the smaller ones are always guaranteed to be sweeter. And so you don't have to use as much sugar. I don't even think I added sugar to, I don't think I did. I think I forgot to add the sugar now that I think about it. Whoops. So 12 cups of blueberries later, and like I just let them sit in lemon juice, and I use a lot of lemon zest, and then I fill the pies with the blueberries, and then I fill a little bit of juice in there, and then we make the top. But we added a crumble this year, so we did a like a brown sugar crumble on top, no nuts, because no one needs nuts in their pie. Calm down. And then we did a lattice, and it baked beautifully, and it stands on its own. A lot of blueberry pies, you pull them out, and they just kind of like they fall apart. These don't. Like the smaller blueberries just stack perfectly inside. But it was delicious. My uncle and my fiance were both like, this is the best pie you've ever made, hands down. And I'm like, I think I forgot the sugar. Thanks, guys.
With no sugar.
Yeah, and I ate it this morning for breakfast. I was like, fuck it. Like, these are my carbs for the day. And it was delicious. It's so good. I love it. So, yeah. Wyndham blueberries. I think that's what it's called.
Hey Lex, do you know who is the who is basically the king of Thanksgiving? And
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. Why are you side looking at me like that? Don't you like Thanksgiving? Don't you like?
I do. I don't know that I would consider myself the king of Thanksgiving. Like,
I would.
Why? Where'd you get this assessment from?
Oh, just that stuff and things.
Stuff and things. I did take a nap, so that was good.
I took a nap too. Thanksgiving naps are the best.
Well, it was weird because I fell asleep on the couch the night before, and I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, and then I proceeded to play Overwatch 2 until like 8:30 in the morning. And what do you mean,
Overwatch
dude?
2, but you can't play. God
I know, dude. I'm super addicted to Overwatch again. I can't even help it. I am gonna play God of War Ragnarok. No, but that's in the bedroom, and I haven't set up the other one yet.
It's not
so
like
I
you have
don't.
a time crunch or anything.
I know. Shut up, dude. Shut up. We're not looking at you anymore. You can't talk. Yeah. Other than that, though, it was nice. We just got back from Canada here last week, like I was saying. Saw my friend Awinia randomly in the airport. I used to play. I know, it's so crazy. We used to play Overwatch together. Yeah. So that was awesome seeing her. Got to link up with Sugar Cube. Saw him out there. We went and ate. He showed me the spot in downtown Vancouver that had some pretty tasty poutine. And then of course,
the poutine?
It was fantastic. If I could eat that, I would eat that every single day.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah, it's got all the things I love. A what?
A cheese pull. Like when you go to pull like the French fries off, does like it like the cheese pull with it? It's called cheese pull.
Well, it depended on I noticed that they used a lot of different cheeses, and I think a lot of them had gravy on them as well.
Yeah.
Most of it's the big thing is the gravy, dude.
Yeah, the gravy with the cheese on top of the fries.
Yeah.
I don't really eat a lot of poutine. I've had poutine here, and I assume that it tastes nothing like it does in Canada.
There were so many. I had like a breakfast poutine. I had a freaking. I had a freaking hot chicken poutine. Like, oh yeah, no, they got so many. I was just like, this is crazy. Yeah. I tried as much poutine as I could while I was up there. Like, if I could, like I said, I would eat that stuff every single day of the week. But it was fantastic. It was a great trip, and everything was solid. Other than that, though, just kind of finally got caught back up on work stuff as well. So, I'm really just taking this time here. I've been off since Wednesday, so just kind of recharging and chilling and playing some games on the back end. So, what about you, man?
Caught up, buddy?
Yeah, for the most part, I'm caught up. Yeah, no, it feels good. What about you, David? How's your week been, brother?
It was actually pretty good. I went to I kind of did a last minute Thanksgiving to my aunts and my uncle's house in Austin.
You went to my favorite place, Austin, Texas.
I haven't been back to. I haven't. It was funny. The first thing I did was when I came to their house, I talked to my uncle, and then my uncle looked at me, and then I was like, "Hi," and then he was like, "I haven't seen you in 20 years."
Oh my goodness, 20 years?
Seriously?
Yeah, 20 years. It's been 20 years. Like, yeah. So I didn't even think about it.
He didn't recognize you. You just walked up like, "Hey man, what's going on?"
Well, it's not like I didn't communicate with him or talk to him throughout that 20 years. It's just that we haven't physically seen each other in 20 years. No, we never did the FaceTime. We just did it was always either text or phone call and stuff, and they're too old for that. I mean, they're old school. Like I just updated their password because of their security questions was through a landline, which didn't work because when they installed when they installed their email back in the day was back in 2003, 2004 when cell phones weren't really abundant.
Just getting rid of the AOL sound at that point.
Yeah, no, right. So so I was just like, so they're not really big on the technology, but no, I went to go see them. We had a great time. Man, had some awesome Nigerian food. Haven't had Nigerian food in so long, and it was so great. It was just like,
authentic Nigerian food. Forgot about that.
Oh yeah, like jollof. Well, the go-to for me is jollof rice.
Oh, I have had
you can have that. Yeah.
Okay.
Jollof rice is the go-to, and then but then you have the meat pies. There's a thing called suya, which is basically dried meat on the stick. That has some really good spices. I was like, it was funny. I told my aunt at the end of it, I was like, you know what? Can you just make like 30 of these, and I'll just take them on my way.
Right?
And you know what? She did.
That is amazing.
Exactly that.
How'd you
That is
transport
amazing.
them?
That's legit.
Huh?
How did you transport them without them going back?
I drove.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Yeah, in your trunk, that should be cold enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how
it was
cold
only 3 hours.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm thinking you had to go to an
Yeah.
airport, wait.
No. It was great. Had a good time. And then on my way back, then I was like, you know what? I need to go. Like, let me just go to. I'm gonna only go to one store for Black Friday, and then because I didn't want to deal with the crowds and stuff. And I went to the Insano store in the Nebraska Furniture Mart. I need to get like sponsorship with them.
I know. I want to
know.
Can you
the store is awesome.
FaceTime me and walk in there with me one day?
Dude, this store is
I'll
freaking,
just give you my card. You can just
this
go
store
crazy.
is freaking amazing. Yeah. So then I bought myself. So I bought one thing. I bought the least expensive thing was this copy of Lost Judgment for the PS5. So I bought this for $10
nice.
on the PS5. And then I was
Nice.
like, okay, so because I love the people who do Yakuza and stuff. So
Yeah.
got that. And then I decided to go ham and decided to buy a $2,700 new TV for the replacement of the moving services that broke my old TV. So
Got 'em.
yeah,
Sharks.
it's that and play like my PS5 on a nice television again. So never
Yeah.
miss it. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
and finish Star Treks. I need to finish the Star Treks.
You do need to
But
finish. We have to have a long convo, but we should just do one podcast talking about the Star Treks. Once you catch up.
Going Trekkie when why they changed Klingons into potatoes. So,
Evolution.
Yeah. Right. I'm not buying that. But let's go. But let's go on to the next thing. So let's. I know y'all don't want to be talking about some more Star Trek fights between me and Lex. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion from the previous week. The topic would or could be something about gaming or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners, on twitch.tv/CFG Games to be a part of the conversation as always. So if there's something you wanted to chime in about, by all means, we would love for you to chime in and type it inside the chat, and we would love to discuss it with you as well. So let's get this party started. We'll start off with Lex. What are you bringing to the table?
So interesting. I had this conversation with my girls last week. They want to play Roblox 10 and 7. And a part of me, here's the thing. I am the technological one out of me and the other parent. And so Brandy and I discussed, she's like, I don't know how to monitor them when they play these games. And I think Harley would be the one to play it first, and then Danny, the youngest. So how do we move forward with this? And I was like, let me dig into this a little bit. And sure enough, I came across a viral video that went viral last year about Roblox and how they're kind of stealing money from babies, more or less. Basically, now there is a Today story that goes along with this. So basically, originally what was going on is Roblox, it was meant for kids. They made it seem like kids can, make these, use the studio and create these games and all of these scenes and do all of this fun stuff. And then they can, get in communities, so on and so forth. Well, here's the issue. The kids can make games, and if they are deemed popular or have the most traffic, they can then get real world money through the game. Now, the problem with that is Roblox takes 75.5% of that money.
That's
and then
insane.
they encourage these children to then use that real world money in an in-game gambling area to then gamble away that money back to Roblox. So that's a really big issue that I have. And why I was, not so keen on having the girls play this, because I don't want them to think that they can gamble real world money in a game that they earned from doing all of this work, right? My other issue is also, of course, that there are communities that aren't children and they let children into these communities. And how do we stop that? Are there moderators? Are there people that do little checks and balances? No, not really. So that was kind of frustrating. But then I saw today, and again, I've been doing this research all week because I don't play Roblox. I don't know a ton about it. And I thought it's a game for kids. Why would adults be playing this? Well, adults are playing this because they have large teams making these popular games to then get real world money and make a profit off of it. But today, Roblox Corporation is doing a patent filing, which basically is going to take the parameters like age, gender, location, preferences, all of those things, and curate them for the player specifically. So let's say you're the adult, you're setting up Roblox for your kids on whatever device, you set it to child, you put in their location, their age, and then you put in a parental password, let's say. I hope that's part of it. And then it will do kind of what YouTube does, where they only let children watch children appropriate things. Now, we all know that YouTube slides with that, and people will market it to children, and then it's somewhat traumatic videos that they end up watching. But this is what they're looking to do and to change. So they're hoping that through the age appropriate measures, Roblox creations will continue to be featured and implement a further patent into that. But up until now, they've pushed this as a children's game that you can play, that children are, they're encouraged to be creative and create these games that other kids can come then and play and meet each other, right? But there has been no firewalls essentially for them. There's no way to say that, hey, this one's a child and you're 42 making up games for these children in Roblox. How do I stop my child from communicating with you when I don't know you, right? And so I was kind of curious what you guys thought, because I know somebody's child possibly plays Roblox.
Yeah, that's Lizard Elsa down there right now. But this is, I mean, so this is actually how we have it, is to where she is not allowed to play unless an adult is present. That way we're able to at least monitor, because she'll do a lot of RP stuff and whatnot, and they're not talking in microphones, but they're talking via text chat. So, we're able to see, what kind of shenanigans and stuff like that's going on. I've noticed sometimes too, like some places will be blasting music. I don't know how people are doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, like, it's weird. So like yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it seems pretty, like, I mean, starting off with their business model in terms of making games for them, like, that is insane. They take 75% of the cut. Like, what?
5. Yeah.
Why?
So,
why even do that?
Could be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then their cut is
it's not that
so
far-fetched
large.
though. But it's not far-fetched to think about that they take a serious cut like that, because when you think about it, I mean, look, when you think of other games, like for instance, when Half-Life, but when Counter-Strike came out, was their mentality is that they're using the engine that was created for them to make the game. So technically, because they did that, they have an ownership of those kind of games. Just like, I mean, like how Dota was how League of Legends came off from Dota, and all these. No, I'm sorry, that was wrong. World of Warcraft 3 came off of Dota, and then and other things, and then people were mad because it was like, oh well, you basically just took our game and modded it, so they're probably not really considering these games as true games, but rather mods of something that their community is creating. But then they still have the ownership rights to it, and then paying them a deal. Not to say that it's aggressive. Yeah, it's way aggressive. 75-25 cut is like ridiculous. For me, I mean, personally, for me, I would have been like, okay, well, you can go F yourself, so I'm not going to do it. But since it's mostly catered for kids, and kids make their own fun out of whatever it is that they're doing into it, then I bet you they're probably just thinking that they could take advantage of that. Especially with people who, I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Well, what makes me start wondering though too is, where then does like child work laws? Because I mean, technically that's work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they're getting paid for it, like, whoa, that's pretty gray area.
That's the real gray area. That's the one I was going to come up with, because I was like, how are they even allowing that? Like, are they paying for this? Because like, I was thinking,
do the work for us.
Right.
Well, they could have deliberately.
And then there's no moderators? Wait a minute.
Well, like, I don't understand. Like, so, like, I don't know how Roblox work. Maybe you have a better feel of it, because since you have a daughter that plays it, Smitty. But more like, so when you create a game, do you have to pay to play that game, or is it like free for anyone that's on the server? You just be able to play it.
Yeah, it's free. You don't pay for any of the games. That's what I was wondering. What are they even monetizing?
So
maybe the ads. But I think a lot of their stuff is based off the cosmetics, because I know that there's issues with their Robux as well, and just like I've heard things about that being problems. Their in-game currency, that kids can get for real world money.
Yeah, and think about it this way. So if you create a game, it becomes really popular, and they base how much you make off of how popular it is and how many continuous players keep coming back to it. So then that becomes your Robux, right? And then if you then translate it to real money to then cash out, an advertisement comes up for their in-game gambling system that rewards you with what have you, right? So then essentially these kids are like, well, I have a chance to win those pretty angel wings. Maybe I can. And then they use
Oh,
that money. So that's where the trickery comes in. So like not only are you possibly screwing with the labor laws for children and capitalizing on the fact that they are children and they're not going to say much because they're signing a contract they know nothing about, right? Even if the parent is looking over the shoulder like, I'm going to watch, don't worry, I'll be here. But then you're signing an agreement when you go to play this game. And then a lot of these kids are then getting poached by other companies. Like, you created this game. We would love to have your ideas. Sign this other contract and we'll bring you on and we'll give you a more of a profit, right? And again, now you're in a gray area where these parents are like, oh, that's fantastic. My kid is a game developer now. And this company would like their ideas. And then they're signing a contract they're not quite sure about, right? So then it kind of spirals into this whole thing. And not that I think my kids would come up with the most popular game, because obviously it takes a team of people to work on these things, even if it's other kids in their community. But it just seems sketchy in that. And not only that, but were no moderators to watch if the parents weren't watching, right? To make sure that a kid wasn't speaking to an adult pretending to be a child to then groom them. That's where I kind of have this issue. Like, there's too many gray areas here for me to go, yeah, you guys can play it without my supervision.
It just feels weird that it feels like that. Like, it just seems like Roblox seems like they're kind of edging it inch by inch to being very, like, like because I mean, a long time ago, you remember they were saying absolutely no voice chat, because they already
right.
they knew the gray, like the possible storm that could happen and stuff for that. Then they slowly kind of edged off of that. Like, so to my surprise that they're doing this, and I'm just like, because I was assuming that there was no, like, microtransactions built inside the game, or monetization that was built inside the game, since the world is being customized, like, infinitely, like, because of their player bases. Then now they're saying that, now they're introducing whatever this pay structure is, to allow people to do it, but that pay structure is it's terrible. I guess I just don't get it, is where it comes down to. Like, I really don't know what the whole opinion is. Like, my whole opinion is of, like, why are they making these? It seems like they're making more trouble for themselves, if in the longer run.
Yeah. And I can tell you from experience with our oldest, we had an issue, and this is why Roblox was not allowed up until recently. Have we had this conversation? My oldest was messaging an adult on Roblox and gave the address of where she
Oof.
was when people went to sleep. Like,
Mhm.
this person was
Oh,
asking
hell
poignant
no.
questions of, how many adults are in the house? What time would it be best to contact you when your parents are sleeping, et cetera, et cetera? And that's where the absolutely not, you cannot play Roblox, and Roblox was banned in the household. And
Mhm.
again, the other parent is my best friend, and she's not as internet savvy as I am.
Mhm.
She does her social medias, but she's not familiar with games like this. And so when that happened, we were all scared. And I do remember putting in an inquiry with Roblox that there was an adult messaging a child, and this was the conversation. And the responses we got back were, we will investigate, and this person has been banned later on. And I said, are they IP banned or they just banned? And they said, we cannot further discuss this with you. So that's where I also have an issue. So you didn't
Weird.
IP ban this person who's trying to come kidnap a child, possibly?
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I was a little, I mean, I hope that things have changed since then. Obviously, this was many years ago, but I haven't seen a lot of changes that made me, as the not living in the household parent,
Mhm.
feel safe enough to then let them play it. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess, I mean, like, if Roblox is going to be doing this, and I know, I mean, it's never, this is something that's not going to affect me in any way, but I know
Yeah.
that. but
I'm just
but I mean, I
curious
guess
how
it's really
this
what,
algorithm is
yeah.
going to work.
What about, yeah, like with Smitty, is kind of wondering, like, what, like, would this turn you off to having your daughter play this now, or like, or are you going to take a more, like, Do you know if it's something that you'd be more concerned that you should be like that you're going to have to keep a bit, like a deeper eye on what they're doing? Like what's your plan of thought?
I mean, I don't know
I
that
don't think
it's
so.
yeah. I don't know that it's anything that's going to directly affect her. That's going to make us do because she's not in there trying to develop games or anything like that. She just enjoys playing and like it's her social way. Because like really, what they're doing is that is a child's metaverse. Is basically what Roblox is, and it's just a bunch of servers that you can go into, different types of games, different setups, and things like that. And they basically host a page that you can then go from and go into the different games and whatnot. So I could see how it's cool that. You know what I mean? Like that these kids have the ability to do this. And I'm sure that there's adults that are also taking advantage of that stuff and whatnot. And I think it might be geared more towards adults. But it seems hella predatory when you then get a link that pops up. Oh, you got your payments of Robux that you can cash out. Or you could try your luck at getting this sweet, epic dress or whatever. Like that to me is where the problem really lies, because that is just trying to keep that money in their ecosystem. The fact that number one they're paying you out by Robux in itself seems hella scammy. So it's like wait, so I'm doing this real world work and you're gonna give me this in-game currency? And then what's the exchange rate on this? What does that look like exactly? There's too many variables. I've done things where it's similar, where you get some sort of currency or whatever, and then you can later on turn that currency into actual dollars or whatever. But they always kind of, they just don't sit right with me, because then if you get left with that stuff and the place is, goes belly up or whatever, now you're all of a sudden, not that I'm saying Roblox is going to go belly up anytime soon, but then you got this currency that is completely useless now, and you've put in real work and time. Cool. So it's like,
on your point, I'm curious. So like, let's say you pay $10 for 20,000 Robux, right? And let's say you do enough work to equal 20,000 Robux. Are they giving you the same payment as you would to pay for that, or is it less?
Probably not. No,
right.
Definitely
So,
less.
I feel like maybe that's a little scammy. And I know Smitty's really good about watching his kids and knowing what they're doing. And, I think he's good. It's just, I'm not in the home. So that's where I'm running into walls on that. But, teaching them, internet proper, manners essentially is where this is going to lead for me, at least. But yeah, just curious what you guys thought. Thank you for your input.
Smitty watches her kids very well, except for Licorice.
Yeah. Except for Licorice and all the damn wires that she gets. Yep. Yeah, don't worry. Yes. You guys didn't know?
He called you a her. I like it.
I know, I heard that.
I've got your rings over here. Don't worry. Okay.
All right. So my topic here, I was the week before Thanksgiving, I picked up Pokemon Violet. Why Violet? I like the color purple. It's my favorite color. And then
purple.
Yeah, does not sound like it ages as well as you think it does. But what's it called? Yeah, and I also picked up Diamond, the Pearl, the one, the Switch remake or whatever.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because they Diamond and Pearl, right?
Yeah, because it was on sale. Because usually Pokemon games, physical games,
don't ever go on sale.
I would suggest this to anyone. If anyone picks up Pokemon Diamond or any Pokemon at face value, get it, because most of those times the value of those games usually stay around $60. Yeah, they go up. So yeah, I definitely ordered. It's funny though too. I'm sorry, to kind of digressing, but I went to other stores. They're still selling Shield and Sword and Shield still for $60. That game is 3 years old. It's like you still do it. Yeah, and it's like it's unbelievable. It's amazing. I was just like, I don't know how they get away with this grift, but yeah. And speaking of which, speaking of the grift, this is that is my topic of this. So, as you know, Pokemon is a storied a storied IP. It's a very popular IP. It's probably, to be honest with you, it might probably be the number one selling game that Nintendo makes. When you really seriously think about it. I mean, and that's saying a lot, because most of Nintendo's stuff is gold when these things are released, because they sell like 15 million, 16 million copies consistently for Mario, Zelda, all these different ones. But to say but Pokemon might be the number one of them all for them. So you would think that they would take like great care of the IP or and stuff. And then I mean, in this year alone, Pokemon did make some different kinds of interesting chances, like they did with Arceus. I never played Arceus myself, but it's a kind of different style. But it does play kind of like what you are normally attuned for Pokemon, just with some slight differences and stuff. But but I skipped that one. I was waiting for Violet/Scarlet. Comes out last week, and then decided to just started playing it very casually. Then I got the bug of wanting to capture everything in that game. So so I roam throughout the whole world of Pokemon, beat the game, had did all the stories and stuff like that. Loved the gameplay. I mean, not the gameplay. Loved the story. Loved picking just capturing all the Pokemons, and then after that, trying to get all the different kinds of variants, just so I could just be that guy, and and then like and stuff. So I loved it. It was a great game. But the thing that bothers me is the QA quality for this game. Because you remember we used to have, you remember Faye? Faye is a huge Pokemon fan. And you remember at the time she was like saying that she didn't want to pick up Sword and Shield because it was basically felt like it was just a copy paste thing from the handheld at the time. And we understood that. This time they did a little bit more. They did a little bit more than just a copy paste job. I will admit to that. But the thing that they decided the thing that they killed were the insane glitches that are in this game.
I'm watching this. This is seizure inducing.
Yeah, the most confusing things that just like the collision drops and stuff. Now, I will be fair, collision drops didn't happen as often as what these are. Keep in mind, this is a montage of videos of showing the things itself. But I'd rather say it would be like it happened to me 4 or 5 times throughout my whole playthrough of like 60 hours in this game. But the different kinds of things, like when you try to land on your with your mount and stuff, you can get yourself stuck at angles. So then the game tries to correct itself, and then it resets itself out and goes back to where you were before you jumped again. So there's a lot of different these ticks and stuff. But the thing that gets me the most is the frame drop. This game doesn't run at 60 frames per second already. It runs at 30 frames per second. But then because of the power of what's happening and distance, distance and stuff, they did shortcuts on trying to make the game they did shortcuts of trying to make far distant things to look to do simple things. So with that being said, if you see an item like in the background of your character, they're running at a half frame range than what you were doing in your main front. Look at Smitty. Smitty just cannot stop laughing.
This is the first I've seen them.
It's ridiculous. I've seen this insane. Already.
Yes. Yeah, and this is the AAA title. That's what I'm talking about. And then I was
There's
thinking,
no excuse for this.
I would say I was saying this. I am saying this kind of stuff. And these are probably like I said, to be fair, the video and stuff, it makes it look a lot worse than it is. But the fact is, it's in the game. It's a AAA title from Nintendo. This title is something that they hold dear to Nintendo themselves. So they're usually good on protecting those games, like Mario and stuff like that. But this one feels like they didn't give a shit about QA at all. They didn't do a QA test itself. So there's times where things are literally ticking like what's it called, Game and Watch, how they move, it does different frame skippage.
I collect them. Kind
of like that with
Game
the
and
black
Watch
ink
looks
and stuff.
better.
It's 15 frames per second, and I'm just like, this is a Nintendo Switch game, man. You're paying $60. You're paying $60 for this kind of fun. And in my opinion, if I had to review, I didn't get a review copy from Nintendo. This is my own personal kind of thing of this. I would say this: Nintendo. I think this game is probably the best story-driven game of Pokemon, which makes it incredibly lucky. because because if it was not good gameplay on top of what you're experiencing here on the glitches itself, this game could have been a dumpster fire, a dumpster fire of a game completely. Yeah. So I mean, I just wanted to get you like I'm a little upset, but at the same time, it's a weird feeling because it's like, can you imagine you're playing a game that you just can't stop playing? It's just fun to play, but then it's just janky. It's completely janky. It's like, what the hell? Like, it's like I'm torn. I'm legitimately torn apart. It's like, man, this game is shit. But it's like, no, I can't say it's shit because it was fun to play. It's like, it's like, yeah, it was real fun to play to do it. So yeah, so I want to get y'all's take on the on this weird phenomenon and stuff, you know.
Oh wow. I didn't know that Pokemon and Tony Hawk did a collab. I mean, she was literally skateboarding on the rooftop gutters, doing a grind. I'm just confused as to how this got past the testing phase. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, someone had to play this game and go, yeah, we're all good. No, we're not. Did you think it was just a weird glitch on your end? I'm confused. And their excuse as to, well, we met, our limit. Well, then figure it out. Right? Wow. Oh, I'm this person's head is in a wall. As Kith says, I hate when my head and Armin do that too. It's like these poor people are having like debilitating spasms that cause their arm to go through their eyeball socket. Yeah, I don't understand how you could create such a great game with a great storyline to then release. God,
like,
this is embarrassing.
That's like, it's very weird. Like, Smitty, what were you gonna say?
So this year they've had the last couple of years, I feel like, but especially this year, they had a pretty aggressive release slate. I was actually surprised that they were, you know what I mean? Like, cause with, Arceus dropped earlier this year, or was there something else that dropped earlier this year? And then, okay. And then we had
Pokemon games.
There's three, right?
Yeah, it was Pokemon Snap, then Pokemon Arceus, and then it was Pokemon Arceus was first, then Pokemon Snap, and then it was Pokemon Violet Scarlet. Yeah.
So that was a pretty aggressive release schedule, and again they had an anniversary and stuff like that too. So it just seems like this game definitely got the B squad treatment on it, and which is unfortunate because that is definitely going to hurt the studio's reputation wise and just the goodwill that they have built up. I know, speaking with Lucas, he was like, I'm just gonna wait till they get this stuff figured out. He was like, I don't want to wreck my experience of the game because of stupid little glitches like this.
See, and this is the thing though, and that's why I'm saying this is just a weird phenomenon to me. I think Lucas should get this game immediately. I mean, the game is like, it is crack. It is legitimately crack. Like on it, it plays like all the other Pokemon, even with these weird glitches and stuff like that. Because if you're really gonna trust Nintendo to do an update patch, yeah, okay, good luck on that. But like,
this is pretty bad though, man.
It is.
It's so bad.
I know. That's why I find it funny. It's like like for me, if I had to review this, like I would review. And then what sucks is this. Like I'm thinking, like I would give this at in our range on our website, shameless plug, confreaksandgeeks.com, out of a 5-star review, I would give this game a 4 still, even with the graphical glitch, which is
interesting.
I know that, and you know me, I am a pessimistic son of a bitch.
Yeah, you're a savage when it comes to ratings.
I don't even understand that. That like it's funny because it's like I'm looking at myself because I have a really strict system myself because it's like, okay, like it's the thing that's being eliminated off of this is obviously the graphics, because the graphics itself, there's no excuse on FPS, like the frame drops, these weird collision issues, these like the characters just doing the funky chicken reverse stuff like that. I just don't understand. Like, there's absolutely no reasons for this at all. And but the story, the gameplay of the base thing, which is you collecting Pokemon, you fighting other Pokemon and stuff like that, is good. It's surprisingly good enough to overlook all of that. which is amazing to me. That's why it makes it so weird to be like, you should still get this game, like, and then wait until the issues. No, I don't believe that he will. Because like I would normally, if someone like this would be doing it in my own story, especially as I love story driven games, this would take me out of playing a game like this.
Right.
But this one is definitely for something about it. Like, it just makes me want to still keep on playing.
And you said it happened within the 60 hours. You said you put in on it. It happened 4 or 5 times.
Well, so collision drops did 4 or 5 times. Frames. Like frame drops was solid, was like consistent throughout my whole playthrough. Yeah. So it was always 30 frames per second for me in the forefront. The backdrop was at 15 to 10. So basically,
that's like, how did they do that though? It's not like the hardware changed in the middle of development or anything like that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Feels like it would make things more complicated than easier.
Well, the reason why they would do something like that, like for what my friend Vin was telling me, was that they do that because it kind of shortcut. It helps to shortcut to make things simpler on a simpler load, which kind of makes sense because later on in the series, like the Switch is Switch is hitting its 5th year. Is it hitting its 5th year? Yeah, it's 5th year. It's 5th year. Games usually get more and more complicated because people are more familiar with it. But to say that this is their first party game and then this is what they released, oh boy, man, I don't know. And
it's $60.
And it's $60. Like, unfortunately, I have to say it's worth it. It's like
that's insane.
I have to say. It is insane. I'm going crazy thinking about this, Smitty. It hurts for me to say it. It's a good game. Like, it's not okay. Look, like, usually I don't think about games as it's not about the graphics, mostly, but then again, with that being said, there's no excuse to be doing to be experiencing what you're experiencing in that way, especially for a AAA title game.
You gotta jump
especially
backwards.
in what's it called? You see these videos? These videos are crazy.
Good question.
Yes.
What's the difference between Scarlet and Violet?
They're just different set. Well, like, I think you've asked this before, but like this,
Probably.
they made 2 different Pokemon. They make 2 different Pokemons because 2 different Pokemons. It's the same game, but there's a series of Pokemon that you can get on Scarlet, and there's a series of Pokemon you can get on Violet.
Okay, so it's just different exclusive starters.
No, the same starters, but just different Pokemon.
There's exclusive Pokemon. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you could trade with other people, right, in order to get some of the ones from the games that you don't have.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So, So that's what it. Yeah. So that's how all that works. But like, oh my god, dude, like, I would love to talk to Faye about this, because I was just like, this is atrocious. And the one thing what's scaring, I'm thinking ahead of time, because like, I've really kind of just started in the Pokemon and to actually seriously start playing Pokemon, because Shield was really the first one I've really fully beaten. I'm worried that because of the success of this game, we're seeing a new standard of console versions of Pokemon. Like what their standards are going to be, or it'll be diminished comparatively to the style that they that was better. Is that another?
I hope not.
It's my brother-in-law's dog. Sorry, he came upstairs to ask a question.
Oh, that's your brother. Okay, I was like, I thought you. You have a new dog.
I don't do small dogs. Yeah, no, that's Ginger. That's his little Papillon.
Yeah. So like what the day and night says. Yeah, I'm still getting it. Yeah, it's bad though. Yeah, I see that. I don't know. I love day and night. Like I said, day and night. I will say this. It is a good game. It is a good game for the everything else, but the glitches and graphics, man.
Did your person turn into a giant monster? That's what I want to know. Did that happen to you?
Did the person turn into a giant monster?
Yeah, getting on the bike where they turn into a giant monster. Have you seen that glitch? Oh, darn.
No, I did not see that. That's pretty funny if it did. But no, it'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a Pokemon now. Yeah, but I just, man, like I just hate sloppy design, like game design, like glitches like this. It's just like, do they just skip QA? I don't understand. Like, I do not
crazy.
understand what they were thinking.
I would happily get paid to QA for them, but
Yeah, and
apparently
this is
not.
Nintendo. Can you imagine, like, if Zelda or Mario or something like this
I would be
like,
pissed, dude.
yes, like the what's it
Wha-
called? The Breath of the Wild had open world range, but like I like so I'll give it I give Pokemon a little bit more of a pass because they probably did more into using more of the resources than what Breath of the Wild did, because Breath of the Wild was an opening day game.
Mhm.
But still, it's like, Jesus, man, this is
I mean, if they did that to Mario, the Italian plumbers would be coming out in full fold getting angry about this. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I know. I just
It-
I know, man. It's
I
just
just hope
wait,
it doesn't set a precedence for
future games.
this. Yeah, exactly, because they're gonna make their money, like everybody's saying, like I'm still gonna get it, it's worth getting it, this and that. You know, I just hope it doesn't come with the, oh well, we still made the money, we still did the things, because you know the only people that lose there are the consumers and the people that love this series. I'd hate for something like this again to continue moving forward and this be set as an expectation, because I'm sorry, but this is pretty pathetic what I'm seeing. It is. There's no
Yeah.
business for it to be looking like this, especially from
Yeah.
a Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, it's just very unexpected.
It's very uncouth for Nintendo's. Actually, I'm bringing out the big words now.
That's right, baby.
For Nintendo itself, it's just like it's disappointing. That's what it comes down to. I think that's a good way of also describing it. It's very disappointing, especially like for a seasoned series. I mean, the series has been around since 1997.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
I still got my gold.
Yeah, so you got the gold. You brought out the Game Boy, showing all that stuff out. So like I did, yeah. So I'm just saying that, like, it's just I hope they do better. I hope I just hope they don't get the green light on half-assing what they did on this one, and then just that's what they're going to set their standards.
Nice.
They're going to set their standards to the games too, because that's where it leads to. That's where it leads to. That means that they're just being lazy on it. And stuff, you know. So there you go. But yeah. So but like I said, guys, even though as much as I'm bitching and moaning about this itself, I think that I think it's very important to hold them accountable on the kind of game that they give you, because I mean, dude, like don't sit down and just say, oh, this is, I mean, it's not all about graphics. He's like, yeah, it's not all about graphics, but there's also a expectation or a quality that you're expecting from Nintendo, which this one clearly did not reach to that standard. It's not like, yeah, I understand you spent $60 and you wanted to justify you spent that much money because you loved Pokemon, but it is perfectly fine to be like, this is not what I was this is not what I'm expecting for this. You need like collision like there's no collision domain spots and stuff to go through walls. You're invisible and you're mount. You're walking jumping backwards to be able to glitch to glitch out. All these different kinds of things. These are bugs. These aren't features into the game.
Right.
That means that they're So no, people should definitely say something about this and not feel guilty or feel like feel like they're being a little bit extra because that's how they're wanting to be like. But no. So for me,
I hope the company is pressured into putting out a hotfix, because that's pretty sad to see, to be honest. And the fact that people are paying full price for a broken ass game like that. Again, it may be good and whatnot, but I'm not gonna purchase something and it's gonna come out all raggedy, but I still enjoy it because it still kind of sort of works.
Sort of work. I mean, like, here's the thing though too, like, I told you I don't usually like buying games that are like Steam early release and stuff. I like buying complete games and stuff. I just prayed to, if I had the choice between early release or get what I got with this is actually kind of debating me. I'm kind of on the fence, because this is essentially what this is.
Wow.
It feels like it's fully released to it. But like, but like, to be honest with you, when I did buy it, I think I'm getting my money's worth, but it's just disappointing to see the quality just fell off on Pokemon. I mean, the quality of it fell off on Pokemon on this, and that's a giant problem, and that I think they need to nip that in the bud, like immediately before stuff starts happening, so
my thoughts are because of the aggressive release schedule that they had this year, that this one probably, again, it fell by the wayside. I'm hoping that that's what the case is, and not.
If it was any other developer, I would agree with that. But dude, this is Nintendo. It's not like Nintendo's a small It's not like Nintendo's a small company. This is made by the Pokemon Company, which and I have friends that work there. So I just think that overall, I don't know if I would give that excuse on the fact that hey, RCS, Pokemon Snap, and so on, so is coming out all in the same year. We only have a team of 15. They have a team of hundreds.
Right.
They have teams of hundreds to do this. So no, I can't. I don't think I can give them that pass either. So they know better, man. This is the AAA title. This is their bread and butter of. This is a quarter of what we get paid. This is what Nintendo's money is a pillar of what Nintendo's money is coming from. And then they give that treatment to it. Is not good. Definitely not good. So yeah.
Facts.
Anyways, I'm done with the soapbox nonsense. But let's close this off with Smitty. What is your closing topic?
Yeah, I just want to do an update. I don't know if anybody has seen about the whole Microsoft Activision Blizzard merge. We know that Sony's been raising a stink about that being too much of the share. If they were able to require it, we were able to find that stuff out in some filings from I believe it was Brazil and then the UK also. Each country has different laws pertaining to some of that stuff, so we've been able to see some back and forth that we normally wouldn't be able to see in typical sense, at least over here in the States. But it seems like Sony might have a point, as the FTC has now jumped in and they are getting involved with this whole merger going down. So it's saying that the feds are likely to challenge Microsoft's $69 billion Activision takeover. Federal Trade Commission is likely to file an antitrust lawsuit to block the merger from taking place. Essentially, it would be one of the biggest moves of this administration's doodads. Yeah. So it says that a lawsuit challenging the deal is not guaranteed, and the FTC's 4 commissions have yet to vote out a complaint or meet with lawyers for the companies, 2 of the people said. However, the FTC staff reviewing the deal are skeptical of the company's arguments, those people are saying. So this is going to be huge. If they nix this and this does not go through, that's gonna be a bit of a black mark there for Microsoft, and I don't know what that means for Activision Blizzard in the moves and stuff that they've already. It's not going to be good for them. I think a lot of people are ready to move on with new leadership and stuff over there, and not the same old things. So it's crazy to see the federal government actually stepping in on this. Obviously, we know though when it's with such a massive, we were talking about this beforehand too, they also got Bethesda for like $30-40 billion. So for them to tack on Activision Blizzard, they also obviously have Candy Crush as well. It's tied in with that deal too. Like they're just saying they would have too much power in their hands, and no matter how Microsoft is saying, oh, we're gonna keep it open, this and that, there's nothing in writing saying that they have to do that. So if you're know anything about that, they will tell you one thing, blow that smoke where, and then on the back end go and do something completely different. So I'm curious to see. Like at first I didn't think there was going to be any legs. I thought that this was going to push through without any kind of issues, and it seems like Sony, they're at least being heard in terms of what that means for them, and really, I feel like a lot of it centers around Call of Duty and just the popularity of Call of Duty. I feel like is what, like, all of a sudden is like people are like, whoa, hold on, wait a second, that franchise alone is worth multiple other franchises. Like, what are you talking about? They'd exclude, or they would own everything that's underneath that umbrella. Hold on, that's gonna mess with free and fair trade, because they could exclusively, and we know Sony's good for exclusives, so it's kind of funny. I thought it was funny that they were arguing this, but it seems like there may be some validity to it, and just those big numbers, like, it is huge, and that kind of money too, $70 billion for this company is huge.
Yeah, but like, I mean, the one thing I'm really, first of all, I'm gonna make a correction. We were wrong about how much they picked up Bethesda. It was actually $7.8 billion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought so too. But I will say this though, like, it's kind of funny. I have a love-hate on this, because I love the fact that the people in Activision, like the higher ups, are not gonna get that. If it gets blocked, they're not gonna get that money. Like, so like Bobby Kotick doesn't get shit, which is always an up on my side for it. But the hate is like is the fact that Microsoft, I knew for a long time Microsoft had bottomless pockets, right? And I knew, but like, to say that they're openly willing to, like, and then how aggressive they've been to try to get first party support by gobbling up other companies and stuff like Bethesda and so on and so forth and everything. So, but like, to say that they have $68 billion of play money to go and get to the library of Activision Blizzard is scary to me, because they're saying that if this goes through, theoretically, if this goes through itself, this is like $68 billion is like, I mean, it's a massive amount of money. But to them, I bet you that feels like that's just to fill up the tank of gas in their car.
Right.
Which is incredibly scary to me, because that means that you're telling me, and when you look at it in a way though too, like, who's to stop them to say, hey, Microsoft wants to buy out EA or all these other bigger companies and stuff like that. So I can kind of understand the risk of this, and let alone with Activision itself, with their flagship is Call of Duty. You're totally right. Like they said, what they told Sony prior to all of this was that they were going to own up to the contract that they already had right, but they didn't promise them that they were going to say, hey, we're going to be releasing this on other systems the next time or whatever, or the Call of Duty League is an exclusive thing that Sony is doing. So obviously they're going to take that crap away immediately and put it on their systems and stuff, or on PCs or whatever. So like, you're totally right. Like, it's mostly like, if you give them that level of power, or if you back them up on this, then who's to say what the frick are they going to do, like, right, towards this? Especially that they're already got a lot of power from the other companies that they've acquired in the recent like 2 to 3 years. So yeah, I mean, I'm against, like, I would say I would be personally against them to gobble up Activision. It'd be amazingly funny for it to fall through. But because that means that they would have to get a mid price. But what's the name of the other, like, the other group? Like, it's a group that's like on the DL, but they're everywhere. It's not like it's not Tencent, but like, they own Limited. They just picked up Limited Run, and is it
Bazinga?
Enhanced?
Or is
no,
not Bazinga? I say Bazinga.
Yeah, Bazinga. You made your own company up.
I made up. That's my company. Sorry.
Bazinga LLC.
Really quick, while you guys are thinking about that, I wanted to read a little bit from the article. It says, central to the FTC's concerns is whether acquiring Activision would give Microsoft an unfair boost in the video game market. Microsoft's Xbox is number 3 to the industry-leading Sony Interactive Entertainment and its PlayStation console. Sony, however, has emerged as the deal's primary opponent, telling the FTC and regulators in other countries that if Microsoft made hit games like Call of Duty exclusive to its platform, Sony would be significantly disadvantaged. And the FTC hasn't really provided any kind of deal or anything like that. But I mean,
Two powerhouses.
it's just interesting. It's interesting because does that also mean like how then are they allowed to? I don't know how. It's interesting because it's like the pot calling the kettle black. You know what I mean? It's like because Sony absolutely uses exclusivity as a way to draw people over to their console or whatever. They're just trying to say essentially that if Microsoft were to do that, then that would significantly harm their baseline. And I don't know. It's like, well, what if they did like I'm sure that they will have something like, because Sony has done things where like
of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. And that's mainly what they're looking to do is to kind of future-proof the fact that, number one, they want to get them in a statement to be able to say, we will not lock this under exclusivity to where, only Microsoft is going to have this game and Sony can't touch the game. It wouldn't make sense to me, but again, this is business, so you never know what's going on in the backdrop and what kind of dealings people have going on. So I can understand that concern. I just find it funny that it's Sony that's putting it out there, the king of exclusives. It's like, whoa, you can't make this exclusive though. Hold up. And they did make certain elements exclusive to Sony PlayStation. Did the same thing with Destiny, like weapons and things like that, which even still I feel kind of is an unfair advantage.
It is unfair.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally right.
Exactly. But I can understand where the concern would lie making that, and if they did that with Call of Duty, that would absolutely tank their sales, especially if they did it, if it were a time thing, it's still going to have to shift their whole finance plan, because I'm guessing they have built in to their finances here's what Call of Duty this year should make. I think the other interesting part too is the fact that Call of Duty is no longer going to be a yearly new game thing too. So that in itself is already going to have projections looking very different than their typical every year we get a new Call of Duty. Here's a X amount of dollars that we can project that's going to be in our bottom line that we can then utilize for other things. So it'll be interesting to see how it all fleshes out for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to say, Lex?
I get why. I mean, it's Sony's being a little bit of a goof, but I get it. I mean, they don't want them to monopolize, and when it comes to business, you're not supposed to. But of course, monopolies exist regardless.
I don't think Sony really cares about the monopoly. Well, I guess they do care about the monopoly. I mean,
with this acquisition, it technically they're buying up other. I get it.
This one's hitting them directly to their pockets, though, because this one is being like they own.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah. So like it's actually kind of funny when you're saying they're the king of exclusives, but when you think about it, like this is the first time I've really seen Sony actually worried about this one, because this makes me wonder like how much money is Sony getting from Call of Duty, because it must be a giant hit to a point for them to even say something like because how right now the number one system on for Fortnite where the most of transactions are coming from is
the PlayStation Store.
It's over PC, so they must be getting a ton of money. So if someone said if they did the same thing, like someone said, okay, we're buying Epic Games or something, right, I bet you they're going to raise the same kind of level of stink. So
absolutely,
so the amount of money must be like threatening for them to be doing what they're
and I'm not disagreeing that. I just think it's funny that, like Smitty said, like they're the king of exclusivity, and like then they're getting mad because someone else is buying it. I get it. I totally do. And of course it's got to be hurting their pockets or else they wouldn't be raising a stink. I just thought the sentiment was funny is all. In all reality, I don't know if I really care too much, but I am curious. It's like hearing like the weekly gossip, I'm curious. I don't play PlayStation 5, so I'm not really too worried about it. And I also don't play that game, but I understand as far as something hurting their pockets so badly for them to say something. I found the sentiment funny is all.
Again, I think if
Oh.
they were just buying Blizzard, no one
Not a
would
big
be
deal.
batting an eye.
I don't think they would care.
The fact that Activision has Call of Duty
That's the issue.
makes so much money that it is a problem. It would hurt their bottom line drastically to
Well, think
lose
about
that.
it,
They
too,
have
like-
to have it. I think they're playing to make a deal, a sweet
Yeah.
deal with them, and make the government kind of regulate how that deal goes. I think that's the play for them.
No,
That's what
that
they're
makes
doing.
sense too. And I mean, think about it too. Call of Duty, like their servers are always loaded with people playing. It's not a game that really has gone out of style. We joke about all of these like football and basketball games and soccer games that come out every single year, but
Mhm.
they obviously have that much of a player base that they can do that, and they know that their player base will purchase the new one. And I think that's too where we run into Call of Duty. It's not a game that ever really goes out of style for them, and it makes them enough money that now this is an issue. So I get it. I totally understand. I'm in this like limbo right now where I loved PlayStation. When I was a kid, it was PlayStation or Xbox. And though I played Halo all the time at my friend's house, I wanted the PlayStation. Why? Because they had all the games I wanted to play.
Mhm.
Yeah, but man, like it's interesting because like Sony, well, like because of powerhouse like Sony is actually saying stuff like this to it. That's why they're taking it as serious as they possibly can. Because if I believe that if it was more like let's say it was a lesser people, like let's say if it was just people that was trying to petition to make this halt, this would have gone through a long time ago.
Yeah.
But they're like in this case though, I don't know, man. Like, it's weird to me. Like, oh, by the way, the name of that group that I was talking about, Enhancer Group. Or Embracer, Embracer Group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Embracer Group.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They own so many
A
IPs,
ton.
and then like you don't know them. I mean, you don't
Right.
know the name of them, and they just come out of nowhere. But these people have like serious amounts of cash. Like if a third party group like Embracer Group decides to pick up like Call of Duty or Activision Blizzard, I bet you that would be better for them to do it.
Right.
Am I game like if they can find an outside source to kind of do something like that, then to be the middle ground, then it's possible. But I think that like the amount of money that Call of Duty is generating, even though hate it or love it, it is what it is at that point with Activision.
Yeah.
That's their moneymaker. They're the
Makes
ones
sense.
that set up. They're the one that set up 4 different studios to run different versions of Call of Duty, so run year to year. So they have people. So they had the cycle of like. So it wasn't like how Madden or FIFA and stuff was like. Oh, okay, you got 1 year. You had like 2 or 3 years for each of the companies to do what they need to do. I mean, it was a well-oiled machine that was done that was created to make money, and it does. So yeah. So but it's hard. It's just hard for me to kind of grasp this. I kind of see Sony's case on this. It's kind of hypocritical in what Sony is, but to be fair on Sony's side, yeah. To be fair on Sony's side, they built their own studios. They didn't buy the studios, and then like was like trying to gauge their competition out because they just decided, oh, building a studio is hard. Let me just buy this one company and then just say it's ours to we own it now. I mean,
Right.
they did with Bethesda and stuff. So in a way,
Right.
they do have a right to do it and to claim all of that.
Oh, 100%.
It's like yeah, so the reason why that they're saying that they're owned for exclusivity is they made the exclusivity.
No, you're right.
Their own companies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's true.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, so so that's one of the things I'm kind of wanting to see where this is going to go. That or it's very 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 interesting. Hold on, I'm sorry. It says an allow or deny. Give me a minute while I just take a look at this.
Kit was talking about the some of the development and how they've worked with the US government in the development of the games and
As a
stuff like that.
recruitment tool.
Yeah, okay, I denied it, but like yeah, I did read it, but okay, but we'll definitely see where the saga is going to go. At least it's not an open shot. At least it's a discussion. That's all you're asking at
Right.
this point. So let's see where it's going to go. I'm pretty sure it's gonna end up going through, but we'll see where it's gonna go. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, so we'll see how it is. But but anyways, let's close this up now. So folks, this was episode 157 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. As always, we will be back again. We have 2 more episodes until we are done by the end for the end of the year. So definitely we'll be back again Friday, Friday next week for a new live episode. But if you do forget, if you did miss this episode, that is perfectly all right. We will release this podcast episode on all podcast services, Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, what have you, on any podcast services out there at the beginning of Monday morning. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. And we'll be back again next week with some awesome more content on our website, confreaksandgeeks.com. But in the meantime, why don't you just settle down, just let the itis take you from your Thanksgiving Day meal and feast, and it's leftover Friday, so we know that where that's gonna go. But in the meantime, guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.